Welcome back, comic book collectors and enthusiasts. My name is Brandon. You are watching M.O.N.Comics. Tonight, I am joined by a couple special guests. Bruce from Up North Comics, who I've known for like 8 or 9 years now when we used to collect vintage Star Wars. And now he has taken the deep dive into comics, and I'm grateful I have yet another friend in here. And then Jeff, Mr. Wizard from Comic Spa, my presser cleaner, good buddy, and monster fan himself. Thanks for agreeing to come on tonight, guys, at such short notice.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I mean, it's I've wanted this book for a while, and you can go out and buy it on eBay at any point, but this book was so special to me and has been over the years that I wanted it to be a personal experience,
Yeah.
because just eBay is so cold, as far as like, you pay the money, you get the book, and like you got it, So let me explain to the chat or to you guys too how this went down, because it's pretty funny. So a week ago today, it was Saturday, was my Big 5 Live for March. Yeah. And I had David from Still Only 35 Cents. I had Brian LCS. I had Josh from Josh's Comics, and I had Joe from 360 Comics. And Joe I bought from him before. I like to think of him as Red from Shawshank Redemption, because he's the guy that's been known to find things from time to time. So I made it a point, and after the show, I shut down the live. We were all backstage. I said, Joe, do you have, and I said, this book? And he goes, yeah, actually I do. I just got one. I was like, are you serious? I shouldn't have been shocked. Like I thought that he would have it, I'm like, because if he's got old Batman, he's got Golden Age, Silver Age, he's got it all.
Yeah.
So I was like, can you hang on? And once people leave, we'll talk more. So we did, and I'm gonna grab my X-Acto knife because I'm excited. And we started talking, and we looked up fair market values, and I said, I have a couple books to trade. I'd rather trade books than have to shell out as much as this book costs, even in low grades. He's like, yeah, and he was honest. He said it's a lower grade, it is complete, it is attached, the colors and everything looked great, so I was cool with that. And we made a deal. So if anyone's wondering what I paid or what I traded, I did my X-Men 101, which is going to hurt Bruce, 6.5, signed by Chris Claremont. And I did a partial cash for him, and he sent me this book. So I just opened it up. Like I said, I've wanted this book for a long time. It's not pre-Marvel Hero Monsters, but it's like Fantastic Four came out a couple months before this book, I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah.
Suck it in.
The anticipation. What is it? What is it? What is it?
I finally crossed off the collecting goal for this year and a major lifelong goal with Strange Tales 89.
Nice.
First appearance of Fang Foom. So if anyone in the chat is not familiar, I've got a huge smile on my face. I can't believe I'm holding this book. I've looked at this cover for so long. I love it because the character is right here, and then it says Fang Foom on the cover. Hello to everyone in the chat. I'm sorry, guys. I'm all over the place with this. I just can't believe it. This monster, this creature, Marvel was, DC had already had their heroes out. They had Superman, they had Batman, they had a lot of stuff that was keeping them going. And when Marvel was, really facing some hard times after the Comic Code Authority, took a lot of their catalog away because they were, they had some crime stories and different stuff like that. They depended heavily on monsters to carry them through to the superhero era. And this one did come out a couple months after Fantastic Four, so it's not like technically pre, but you can tell it's got that 10-cent bubble, man. That's the early Silver Age, is that 10-cent bubble, the trade dress. And it was just this character, when you start learning about him, it was, I guess where it all started for me was this card right here. I was telling Bruce before we got on that when I first saw this guy on this card, it showed me that Marvel had a lot more than just superheroes, cookie cutter superheroes to offer. It was a dragon, which was right in my wheelhouse. And this is series 2, and on the back it has his stats. And I was looking at him; he's so super powered. And I was asking a couple people, I think Rohan from Absolute Game of Nerds, who collects cards heavily, said, "Is there anyone more powerful than Fin Fang Foom based on these cards?" And he said, "Just Galactus." So Galactus was the only one more powerful than Fin Fang Foom. Strange Tales 89, 1961.
Whoop, whoop.
Finally got it. Height 15 stories. So yeah, this was his first appearance. I'm going to bring everyone back to the stage. This was his first appearance. The story is great. It's about a Chinese man's son, and they're trying to fight off a communist red invasion from coming into Taiwan. And his son's a soldier. One brother's a soldier, one brother's not. And the father's like so just bothered that his one son doesn't want to help the country and enlist and fight. And the son was like, well, there's other ways to fight, and he had learned about Fin Fang Foom. So he went into his cave and he awakened him with this herb, and then goaded him into going and attacking the communist army. And he destroys them all and stops the invasion. And then
That's awesome.
The character lures him back into the cavern and puts him to sleep with an herb that will, like, there's one herb that'll wake him and one that'll put him asleep. So that's the origin story of it. But this is Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, which you can just tell it's Jack Kirby. Then, this Fin Fang Foom goes on to become one of Iron Man's in his rogues gallery. And he is one of, I think, 5 aliens that landed on Earth from the planet Maklu 4 in the Milky Way system. And the other 4, it's funny, there's an Iron Man cartoon from the mid-90s on Disney Plus, and they show like the origin of the Mandarin. So, when these guys land, 4 of the dragons turn into humans to go off into the world to like learn more about humanity before they conquer us. Their ultimate goal is to conquer us. And the Mandarin comes, learns about this spaceship, and that's where he gets his 10 rings of power. So the Mandarin later on has, implications with Fin Fang Foom, able to use the technology to wake him up. And then I was just kind of like doing a little more of a deep dive on Fin Fang Foom and his abilities, which include, this is so badass, superhuman strength, supersonic flight via wings, extreme durability, regenerative healing factor, acid mist breath, telepathy, prolonged lifespan, shape-shifting, size alteration, gifted intellect, and possesses alien technology. Like, what a badass character.
Fuck yeah.
And
That's
you look at his eyes
awesome.
and you're going to think, oh my God, supersonic flight. It's like, how does he, he's a big character.
I know
Yeah.
his wings are so small too when they're usually depicted, and they're so teeny compared to his to body. But so go ahead, Jeff.
A lot of people gravitated to, you always liked, there was always monsters, but everybody gravitated to large monsters. It was always like, I mean, when you think about it, because honestly, I was always wondering when Godzilla first came out, like when in Japan, like when the whole idea came out, I don't know when that all started, but you had them, you had Gamera, which I grew up on in the late 60s, early 70s. That was kind of a cool character that was on TV. So
I was watching that too in the 80s for reruns. What about the robot? Is it Ultraman?
Yeah, it's funny. I never really followed him too much, but yeah, he's been around a long time too. It just wasn't one of those characters. I must have been either out of the TV time period or something. I don't know.
It's Gamera, Jeff.
Oh, Gamera, that's right.
Get your kaiju right. I'm just gonna say, everyone, just because I appreciate everyone watching real quick. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just all over because of this book in my hand. Alan Carr from Australia, Eric from SideQuest Comics, Chris Parker, my buddy out in Buffalo. Then we got Carlos from Los's Comic Journey, Doug Bakken, Joshua, the Sasquatch man himself, Hayden, the Next Gen Collector, and Colossus, Pam, and Dan's X-Men Comics, and Mike. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Oh, Jussi, sorry, from Finland just popped in too. So just wanted to say hi to them quick. But, now that I look at this, like I saw it in the pictures, Jeff. Let me show you this this spine real quick. So I knew it was low grade.
Oh yeah, you can see on the spine. Yeah,
It looks like there's a lot of tears.
yeah.
So if this is a brittle book, Jeff, pressing it would probably risk doing more damage with this kind of age book and how brittle it looks.
Yeah, I really shine away from, especially like the golden age, and if you see silver age, they have that brittleness for whatever environment they were subject to. I mean, it just doesn't do it any justice. You're going to end up, starting to, damage. I'm trying to make it better. I'm not trying to make it worse. And so I do try to, as best I can, shy away from it. Even if it's got the creases and they're, it's undulating. If it has a stain, it's one of those things. I just have to say, it's not worth me pressing it. I mean, I could cold press it, but in the long run, cold pressing, I mean, you can do a little bit, but boy, it'd have to be in that cold press a really long time, even to make a dent on making it look a little bit better. Even if I stuck it in the press without heat, same thing. I mean, it gets a little bit better, but not like as if you can bring heat to it or whatever.
So, hello, Aussie Martin comic book collector. Yes, where I bought it. I bought this from Joe on 360 Comics. Joe, actually, I think he's having a live sale right now. Joe is an amazing, amazing member of the community, and he gets his hands on some rare books. Guys, I'm taking it out. I'm taking it out, chat.
Do it.
We're going to look.
Show that bad boy off.
Okay, so the cover at the spine is rough. I'm going to gently open it because I want to show. I've seen this splash page online before, but I wanted to show everyone in person. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to gently pick it up.
Detached, attached?
Attached. It's attached. It's hanging on, with a few threads by dear life.
Just hanging on too. You're right.
It's roached. But look at that splash page.
It's almost better than the cover. You ask me.
I think so too, man. His face, having the humanoid face, is just so weird to me, and I love it. If you've ever seen the movie Gremlins, when Billy's in the bar drawing a dragon with Miss Deagle's face on it, it looks like this. I think he took inspiration. So yeah, I'm going to carefully shut this. Back, yeah, there's tears on the back and stuff. But like, I always knew this was going to be the most likely grade I'd be able to afford this in. It's a tough book to find. I was saying to Jeff and Bruce before we started that when I bought this book, I wanted it to be a personal experience. I didn't want to just buy it off eBay. I wanted to buy it from a friend so I could have a story, and Joe has become a good friend. So yeah, it's pretty beat up. I don't think it's worth trying to wreck.
I want to say when you get this low in a grade, because it looks like you are low. When you see pieces missing, and then you got the tear at the bottom, the spine split. You can see a lot of spine issues for sure. You got a little bit of staining, though, maybe not.
I mean, it's chewed all around.
I mean, if it's just the cover, it presents really well. I mean,
the cover looks really good. I mean, back here, right? Like,
even better.
obviously, people are going to see it on my wall from like this distance away. Like when you get up close, sure, it's not going to look, as good as a higher grade. But I mean, I was looking.
It's got nice gloss.
It does have nice. This is a 61. So what is that? 65 or how many years is that?
Let's see. Figure that's 39 plus 24.
So 64 years old.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's been loved. It's been read. I mean, you can tell. It's been touched by.
What was really important for me when I picked up this book, when I finally pulled the trigger, was the trade dress had those bright colors. And Fin Fang Foom did not have any rips or tears. So all the tears are outside. Which is good, which is fine with me. Guys, it smells like history.
You love it, huh?
I am in love. I can't believe.
You pay extra for that.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I'm going to carefully put this back in.
So when he sent it to you, he thought it was a what grade kind of?
He thought it was a 2.0. And like you were saying, I'm very carefully putting this back in, that, it depends on the grader that's grading it too that day, like, should they be following, like their point system and checking stuff off? Absolutely. I've seen there have been worse books that look like, worse than this at 2.0, but we'll see. We can place bets.
There comes a time period when you're looking at a book like that and you're looking at the low grades. When you start looking at the defects, there's things like say me glossing or me pressing, it isn't going to really bring too much to bring a group. Like you're lucky to get like a 0.5 maybe usually
Right.
when you get to that level. So that's kind of how you measure it. You just kind of look at a book when it gets that many defects, and you just kind of look at it and go, okay, even if I try to improve it, if I'm just going to buy it to keep it, then that's it. But if you're trying to maybe improve it and maybe get a higher grade out of it, it gets to be a little bit more difficult with those. I think once you get above, maybe 3.5, then you can start doing things with it. Because usually when you're in 2s and 1s, you're going to have spine issues, you're going to have pieces missing, you're going to have, does a gloss bring that any value? Maybe a little bit for presentation, but other than that, you're not going to really, get too much more out of it, I think.
Right. So in your experience, Jeff, with a book like this, you just saw tons of tears, spine chewed up. It is attached at the staples and some of the cover. If you had to guess, like my guess would be like a 1.8. If I had to guess.
On the money, I think.
Yeah, 1.8 to 2.0. I mean, I think it's about the best you're going to.
I hope it gets a 2.0.
Me too.
That would be great. I don't care. Again, I'm the guy sitting here with a 0.5 Fantastic Four, 48. Just because I wanted to own it. And that's a different story. That's just missing a center page, that or no, it's missing one of the first few pages, but it's like an Inhumans storyline. So like it's not like the Silver Surfer's origin is taken out of the book, and the cover looks great, but that's why that's low. But I'm just gonna send it to CGC and spin the wheel. And because I think it is important with a book that is already this beat up and frail, this falls under my preservation reason, just to preserve it better, get it encased in plastic. And people could say, oh, you could buy the Gator Guards or stuff like that. And it's just like, I just rather, now it's more of an experiment too, like my other book that I just received from you today, Jeff, that we're going to see what happens there today.
Oh, you got it? You did get it?
I got them all next to me. I'm going to show them off at some point to show this chat what a wonderful presser you are. So yeah, guys in the chat and you, my friends unscrewing me, I did it. I got a copy of Strange Tales. I'm going to find myself thank you. I'm going to find myself walking in my room being like, I can't believe I did that. The X-Men 101, the reason I was so quick to trade that is I see that book a lot, it's obtainable. I don't think I needed to have it with the Chris Claremont signature even to care about it. No. So going into that, Bruce, would you like to show the chat exactly, what I'm talking about with how you can get it without a signature and make it look good?
Sure. So recently, this book was purchased off of Aaron on Instagram. You can find him at M.O.N.Comics. I did a video recently on my channel if you want to go check that out. So my copy of X-Men number 101 is right here. And we're going to open it up. And I just want Jeff to kind of look at it because it's going to be sent to Jeff to get pressed very soon. And
what did he tell you like the grade was on now? And just out of curiosity.
He said, and he estimated it being around a 4.0 to 5.0 in between there. So let me know if you could see anything, Jeff, if you want to see it in better light.
I can see the ripples like up near the X-Men. Like it seemed like there was some ripples up there. Just in the reflection. That's what I use a lot. I use reflection. Reflection shows me everything really normally.
Right.
Yeah, I can see it. It's not the same as having it in my hand, but I can.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. The back is what has the most issues. This book has it has some water stains on it. It's not water damage. Like I remember sending you my Hulk 181, and the whole thing was pretty much waterlogged. But
Hulk 181? Which one did you send them?
Yeah, Hulk 181.
The first Wolverine?
Sorry. Hulk 340, right?
Oh, yes, with the Wolverine claws. I was like, don't tell people what you're going after just yet.
No. Sorry, I have it in my brain, Hulk 181.
You got to get you one.
So this is more so it's not a water stain, it's like a watermark is what you got on that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. It's so hard to tell on camera and in pictures too. You're just going to have to be able to see it in person. There's some water staining right there. But other than that,
how's the spine?
Spine looks great. Me and Dan from Dan's X-Men Comics, and I think Big B was there as well. we were taking a look at it, and the spine really doesn't have that many spine ticks.
Anything
I
color
see.
breaking? Like say for creases and color breaking ticks, do you see a lot of them? Because really that's the thing that starts bringing the book down. If you start seeing like a bunch of that stuff, or even creases on the cover somewhere that are color breaking, you know, that's when you start, you know, you get the dog ear creases and all that kind of stuff that you just can't bring it brings the grade down. But if they're only like, if they're not color breaking, those are things you can kind of work with. It may make a line on it, but it makes it present a lot better, even if it's pressed.
Right. So I see a dog ear right here in the corner.
That's not too bad. It's like a little one.
Okay. So your camera, you can see it better than I can on my side. It looks all fuzzy, but anyways, there's a spine tick there and there, but they're like micro ticks. They're not even like the biggest spine tick is right here.
Yeah.
That's the most noticeable one. And then there's some staple stress right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, I think that could press out right there.
You know, it's funny. You're positioning the book just perfect, where I can see in the reflection all the undulations on the cover. Like I can see, like, you know, pressing would really help. The cleaning would really help, and you know, a lot of that stuff could probably come out. So you might be able to bump even higher. Like I said, if there's no pieces missing and nothing color breaking, that's gonna present pretty well after. So
it looks good for my house.
It does. It looks good. It looks good in my house. So I'm hoping for 6.0 or better. That would be hopeful. I think that with the amount that I paid for the book and how much I'm gonna pay, you know, to grade it and have you press it, I might break even. Hopefully, you know. So.
But it's great because that's a book you hunted, you acquired. You can read it right now. And then you can, you know, have it graded, and there's a huge, you know, good story behind it. And those books just mean more to your collection, you know?
Yeah, I read this book last week, and I'm actually going to read it again coming up, just to kind of get familiar with the storyline.
Jeff went to a con today. Jeff, did you open up the wallet today or what?
Yes, I did. There's a little bit of dust in there now, but I did actually open up to buy a few books. It was nice to get out because honestly, I haven't gotten out, you know, in a while. Like everything, you know, family life, everything gets.
I know how that is.
You know.
Yeah, me too.
And it is what it is. You
Bruce
know?
and I are in the shit with little kids right now.
Yeah.
So I'm hunting Dave Stevens, and this was one that was kind of nice. I got this from Carlos, which was really nice. He handed this one out, which was.
Oh, Ricky from All Sorts of Words just felt that in Maine. He's on his way here.
Yeah, that's a good cover. That's one of the covers I kind of liked. I mean, most of his covers I liked him anyway. He's had such great art. As a kid, when you know, you had PC Comics, Eclipse. When he drew for all these companies, I just anytime he had a cover, I snagged, you know, his work.
Heck yeah.
And then I don't usually go after a lot of Campbell's, but I'm a big Captain Marvel fan, and anytime like she's on a cover, you know,
that is a sick cover.
There we go. Can't find the right lighting there. It's tough because I should take it out of the bag. It's probably a lot easier to see.
Was that Dan from M.O.N.Comics asked, was that Vampirilla a Seduction of the Innocent homage?
No, you mentioned it. It's kind of got that. Yeah, it does kind of have that look.
There's one Dave Stevens book I want to add to my collection. I think he's a great artist. I just don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but it's the
it is a rabbit hole.
Yeah, the actual, it's like it's a Halloween book with like a witch on the front, and it says Seduction of the Innocent on it. And it's a great Halloween cover, so it fits my aesthetic. There's jack-o'-lanterns on it, and
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
yes, I almost picked that up today, but the guy wanted too much money, and I was like, nah, I kind of passed on that one.
What was he asking? If
he wanted it was $110, I think $110 he wanted for that.
Yeah,
book.
dude.
So,
you know what? If I have to pull the trigger on an eBay one just to grab it, they're on there for way cheaper than that.
I did have another book here, but given the content of the book, it's a Dave Stevens. It's a noir book. It's issue number 1. You know, and there you go.
Oh yeah, that's a classic one. That is So you went all in on Dave Stevens at the con today too, huh?
I got a couple, yeah. And the other ones I got real quickly is
sorry, I didn't know you had more.
Yeah. I only got altogether. I've got 3 other ones. So I picked up this one. This was another Campbell cover.
Very awesome.
Cover. That was And then I got just because I love Jae Hung Lee. I love his art.
Oh yeah,
That's another.
That's cool.
I love his art. His art just I just really love it.
Mm.
And then I did like this one by Adam Hughes. I picked this one up because I never got it when it first just came out.
Oh, foil love, yeah.
Yeah.
This was such a nice one, so I got that. So that was it. That's what I picked up.
That's
Cool.
awesome. A little surprise also. So Fang Foom came yesterday, but in the mail today, I got my batch of comics. When did I submit these to you, Jeff? A few months ago.
Yeah, you waited. It's a little bit of time. Yeah, maybe somewhere right around there. Yeah, maybe a couple months.
Patience is key, but I want to show the chat. If anyone in the chat is looking for a presser and cleaner, and because I was when I first, realized that you could do that to enhance the book, and that's when I watched Mike from Lunch Money Comics, and he showed Jeff, and I just reached out. I was like, hey, I'd like to work with you if I can, and Jeff was like, sure. So if anyone in the chat is looking, and you've been on Facebook looking or Instagram, and you want to go with the only guy that a couple of us now trust our books with. Jeff from Comic Spot. I want to show a little bit of his work that he did for me. The first book is very infamous now. It's given me the most views of any YouTube video I have, but it is Tales of Suspense number 50. Jeff shined that puppy right up. Remember, the cover is detached on this. It is part of the ongoing experiment to send to CGC to see what they grade it as. And it's also a married cover. So this cover did not belong with this book, so we're going to really test. Now they're going to go watch my YouTube video and be like, oh, we know you put it out there. They're probably watching YouTube videos, but you made this look beautiful, Jeff. The colors are popping more now, man.
It does look good.
That's the fun, to see if I can get massage those colors to kind of show back on the cover, because the sizing really, it kind of loses its luster, and it's underneath there. You just kind of get it to show back out, show through again. So
yep. What was what, Eric from SideQuest Comics? If you can remember, Eric, just shoot the question in the chat. So Jeff always gives the CGC forum estimates and the Comic Spot estimates, and the CGC forum said 1.8 to 2.5. Oh, the grade was a PGX 4.0, and Comic Spot said 2.0. And people were
on the back. You have it on the back, right? Did I send it to you?
Oh yeah. So we did. We did find out upon further research that you could get up to a 4.0 with the detached cover. However, the fact that this is a married cover, it technically should get a green label, and whatever grade they're going to assign to it. But it'll be a fun experiment. Still got the first appearance of the Mandarin. I also have the second appearance behind me, so I'm pretty happy about that. The next book, and I don't know, I think right away, the first two I'm going to send into grade right away will be the TOS 50 and Fang Foom, just to space it out, because the Strange Tales does have to go into the higher value tier, so that's going to cost anyways. The other book he worked on was Thor 134. This looks freaking beautiful now too, Jeff. Does. First High Evolutionary. I loved Guardians of the Galaxy 3 with him as the villain. I thought he was really. You put a villain torturing animals in a movie, it's hard not to make him one of the the worst villains out there, because people love animals so much. So Jeff, again, I just can't speak enough about your work, man. That's popping.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know where I put the estimates for that, but I'll look around. Anyways, another one that looks much better than it did. It's not without its flaws. Is Daredevil number 3. So first appearance of the Owl. My wife's favorite. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
I was just going to say that was a fun one to work on, because this was the one, like the ones that tend to look really the most harshest are the ones I really enjoy trying to see if I can bring it back to some kind of luster. And that one, I want to say that was the one I really kind of went.
It came out fantastic, man. It looks great.
Does
my wife's favorite animal is the owl. So this was like, she was like, oh, there's a character. I'm like, yeah, but he's not as important as you'd hope he'd be. In the realm of Daredevil's Rogues Gallery. So CGC Forum said 1.0 to 1.8, and Jeff said 1.8 for estimates. So it's always fun to see these estimates too, and what they come back. And then thank you, Doug. This one, okay, so this one is a modern book. It's the John Tyler Christopher action figure variant, and it's signed by Carrie Jones, who played the Man-Thing in the practical effects Disney Werewolf by Night. I was going to send this to CBCS to get verified, but I just found out he's coming to Terrificon. So I think the move there would be to see if I got to first research and see if CGC is going to have witnesses there. Because I think I could buy this. This was estimated by the CGC forum to be a 7.5. Jeff put it around a 9.2. I think at a con, I could maybe hunt, even if it's not this book in a higher grade, but a different Man-Thing book, and have Carrie sign it and send it off to CGC. I think that might be the play. And but I got this in a trade with a good friend on Facebook group, and so this has some sentimental value.
And that's a hard one to find too. You're right about that.
Yeah, 22 Comics was telling me that he just got this. He sent me a picture a while ago, and he's like, "That was a hard book to find, man." I'm like, "Really?" Like, I just got it offered in a trade, so I was pretty grateful that happened so quick. And then I'm also gonna have, I'll probably have Carrie sign this too. It's the Werewolf by Night, signed by Azrael. Who is her cousin is a YouTuber, Michael, from Angry Otter Comics. So he hooked me up with this, which is awesome. So I'll probably have Carrie sign this as well, and then I'll have two of the cast members. Try to get this cast signed by, if possible, everyone in the photo, plus anyone I can that worked on it. I think that would be fun. But this one looks great. I think it's better than the 9.2. I think Jeff undergrades sometimes. And
I will a little bit. The other thing is I feel like I don't know. I feel like they tend to, the grading system seems to me to be changing a little bit. I feel like when they say it's a 9.4, it's like they bump it up another one, which I'm surprised, because I go by the Overstreet price guide, and that's kind of what I try to stick to. But yeah, hey, if it gets better, I mean, that's good for you guys.
Yeah, and another good point is our buddy, me and Bruce's favorite whatnot seller, Robot Monster Island, our buddy James, he made a good point that people are too worried to look at the grade and not the book. There's a lot of 9.8s out there that don't look like they should be 9.8s, and there's 9.4s out there that should be higher. So don't get infatuated with looking at the grade. You're buying the book, not the grade, right? But Jeff,
absolutely.
I'm glad you didn't have to do too much of that. This one I'm probably not going to grade. I was toying with having Jim Lee grade it, but it is X-Men #4, so first appearance of Omega Red, who is one of my favorite mutant villains. And Mike sent me this for my anniversary of the channel, so
nice.
I might just do a cool top loader display with this on a shelf. I got to build some more shelves, guys. I'm running out of freaking room here. But you made this look like it the day I saw it in the tobacco shop that I used to buy comics in, and I loved this. People don't like when the villain's not completely on the cover for a first appearance, but I really dug this as far as you see this Omega on this hand with like these tentacles coming out, and you're like, what the hell is that?
I love that book.
Yeah,
really
so do I. So yeah, those were the books Jeff worked on for me, and
awesome.
I can't thank you enough. Yeah, Jeff, you were you make these books look amazing, dude.
Thank you.
It's amazing. So I'm excited to see what comes of Bruce's books when he gets. How many do you have with Jeff right now, Bruce?
I haven't sent anything yet, but he told me tonight that I could send them over. So
okay, gotcha. Okay,
I think I'm going to be sending at least 3, if not 4.
Cool. So yeah, what did I just do with this? I'm out of my mind tonight because of this book. But thanks for everyone in the chat for hanging out. It's been different this year, really focusing on getting the books that I really care about. Actually, Bruce is doing a good job of that right now. I got a lot of filler last year because I felt like, I was picking up stuff from my runs, but some of it was just to talk about on the channel, and you don't need to do that, You don't need to just pick up books to talk about, even if I thought they were still cool and I read them, I'm having a lot more fun to go after stuff like this. I would like to get, so I was talking about the Fear Run, how it's like a lot of them are 1 through 9 is the the reprints of like Astonishing Tales and Strange Tales. I'd like to get some more of those big creatures, you know, Jeff, like those early, just big monsters.
Yeah.
Will it be 1.0, 2.0?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so I looked up Astonishing Tales and cover price and started like, because it tells you like underneath like what the VGs are selling for, you know, and like some of them weren't horrible. Some of them, you know, were less than $200, but then there's other ones that are, you know, but
yeah, when you're reaching out for those, they are it's kind of almost like you're trying to get the old DCs. You know, they're really hard nobody can afford, you know, a lot of those, even if they're in low grade. They're just unless you do a big trade to get something like that, you know, like you have a bunch of books you want to trade to,
right.
Get, you know, and with you're the monster guy. You like all the monster stuff. So it's like, I see you getting those.
Absolutely. Fits your personality for sure.
Thanks, Bruce. I appreciate that.
And I wanted to touch on the monster thing. So we were really big into Magic the Gathering, right? It just kind of brought it into my brain that it was instilled back in the day in Magic, like monsters were the thing. The bigger, the better. The bigger creature, the better. You know what I mean? So it's all over, you know, like with toys too, you know, like I almost picked up that I forgot what it was, but that big
the Inhumanoids.
Yes, that's
Tendril.
what it was.
Tendril. Yeah.
I almost picked that up just because I thought it was so cool.
You know? I want it. Have you watched? You can go on YouTube and watch the episodes of that.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
It is.
Yeah.
Such an old school cartoon right there.
It is.
Did they ever make comics for that?
I've got the first issue. I've got Inhumanoids #1.
Oh, that's cool.
And they just, I mean, that was a big toy sale. Like a lot of the 80s stuff was, you know, was meant to sell toys. But
so yeah. For you guys collecting, did you guys get in because of the cards? Were you guys also like if they never had the cards, would you ever gotten into comics? Like, this is what I'm saying, because it seems like a lot of people got into comic collecting because of the cards.
Bruce, were they part of your childhood at all?
For me, comics came from my father. My father collected
That's
comics.
Right.
So I remember seeing them inside of his closet when I was younger, and I would just look at them and thumb through them, and he was like, don't you ever touch those. Don't you ever open those up and take them out. You know what I mean? So I'd have to like kind of sneak to do it. And, you know, then my parents got separated and he moved out, and I took all of his comics and I brought him to a comic book store and I sold them for Magic the Gathering cards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, those are liquid too, though. You know, I mean, you can move those anytime. They were part of mine, Jeff. I saw comic books in this. Like, I was like looking at comics in the tobacco shops and like penny candy stores.
Yeah.
But like Richard in the chat just said, the cards introduced me to unknown characters, you know, and like Fin Fang Foom being like one of them. I was like, holy crap, there's a dragon, you know, and
so cool.
So the cards pushed me to go more into comics. I was still buying Spider-Man, I think, before, a little bit before, but not as much as like once the cards came out, like they were a big gateway drug into a larger world of it.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah. The cards were awesome, though. I mean, Rohan is still big into the cards.
Yeah. I told him I thought it's kind of neat because at one time, all we had, and I think I was telling Mike this, all we had was there were certain comics that, like, say, for instance, Marvel, they came out with, and you found out exactly, you know, the power rankings of all the characters. Because up to that point, you know, it could always tip either way. You never knew which way it could kind of go. You know, I was always like a Thing lover. I always loved the Thing from the Fantastic Four. And then over time, you learn like, oh, you can tell he's not as strong as the Hulk. But then you guys, you know, they came out with cards, you know, where you could see all that stuff on the back. So, which I thought was kind of neat. But, you know, for me as a kid, all we really had was comics. And so, you know, you had to gravitate towards it. And it really helped you to learn how to read. That's why, like, when it comes to like your favorite holiday, Halloween, I usually get a bunch of books together, and instead of handing out candy, I hand out the comic books, and the kids just love them. I mean, I just kind of put it out in front of them, and I let them pick what they want. And boy, they, you know, if they want to grab a couple, I let them grab a couple. And
that's awesome. That's such a good idea.
Will you be surprised when Bruce and I show up with our kids in costume at your house on Halloween, and we're like,
yeah,
Don't skip, Jeff. Pull out the good books for the kids.
I'll just picture you dressed as the man thing, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I know this is because he's that tall.
Yeah.
That's
Well, now he could be Fing Fang Foom if he wants.
Oh my God, I can. Yeah, I'm trying to cosplay that. Mr. Akins from What's on the Comic Rack does the same thing. Jeff, he puts out like a long box, and kids are like, "Can I take 2?" He's like, "Take 3 if you want," and so we're planting. He's planting the seed like you are of you
gotta do it. You gotta reseed just like the trees. You gotta plant them back out there again. So
well, what kind of comic are you handing out? Like more modern Halloween comics? You're not giving like Witch's Tale and
no, exactly.
Witching Hour and
I kind of have to watch it because the content. Like I've talked to Mike about this. I felt pretty safe, like books in the 70s that are kind of like not the best of shape. I know some of those 80s you can find them. There are books that there's probably a few modern you can kind of get that are pretty decent, and they're gravitated towards kids, and that's kind of the way it was back in the day. It was all the books you read them as a kid, so they were all kids books. So I want to say for the most part, you can kind of tell. I mean, just in the cover, you can kind of tell. You're like, oh yeah, no, I'm not about to hand this one out. And
right.
So you're not gonna be passing out the Chevelle Noir en masse.
Yeah, I didn't want to put that on the camera. Like,
photocopy the cameras or photocopy the front and just put in every kid's goodie bag.
They're gonna be like, who the heck passed that one out? I want to. What number of the street of that was that on? It's like,
but one parent, you'll get that one parent that'll be like, "You like Dave Stevens too?" I just want to say thank you to everyone in the chat for stopping by tonight. Thank you to Bruce and Jeff for coming on for this
welcome
occasion. This was a big one, friends, and I'll probably be posting a lot of pictures of this on social media and stuff because I just can't help myself. So much love to everyone. You guys have a good night. I'm going to chat with these guys backstage, and then I'm going to go play backgammon with my wife, which I think she cheats at. But I don't know because I know how to play it, and I just think she's cheating me. So
go to bed an hour early tonight.
Yes, set your clocks forward tonight. Yes. Stupid. All right, everyone, have a great night. Until next time, keep reading those comics.